students, I am Puneet from Prab Kirpa classes. We are going to start the chapter Fibre to Fabric. Fibre is the starting point of the textile change. First of all, fibre is obtained from the source, then yarn is made from the fibers. Yarn is then woven or knitted into fabric. Fibers can be classified into two main categories, natural fiber or synthetic fiber. Natural fibers include animal fibers, plant fibers, and mineral fibers. In this course, we will mainly concentrate on two animal fibers, that is wool or silk. We will discuss in detail the steps involved in processing of fibers into wool and also the 4 stages in the life cycle of silkworm. We will discuss the whole chapter in detail including the following questions. Question number 1. Name 2 types of fibers with examples. Question number 2. Give 2 examples each of plant fibers and animal fibers. Question number 3. Why sheep, goat, yak and some other animals have a thick coat of hair? Next, write the different types of fibers that form the hair of sheep. Next, what is the meaning of selective breeding? Question number 6. The fleece of sheep is not the only source of wool. Comment. Question number 7. What do you mean by rearing of sheep? Question number 8. What is the meaning of sheep farming or sheep husbandry? Next, whether sheep are herbivores? Comment. Question number 10. What are the various steps involved in processing of fibers into wool? Question number 11. What is the meaning of shearing, scouring, sorting and clearing of burrs? Next, how many times sheep are sheared in a year? Next, shearing is avoided in winters. Why? Question number 14. Hairs of sheep are removed during hot weather. Why? Question number 15. Whether shearing hurts the sheep? Comment. Question number 16. The people involved in sorting of hair may suffer from a disease. Name that disease. Question number 17. What is the meaning of Sariculture? Question number 18. Which country is the world leader in production of silk? Question number 19. Write a note on the life history of silk moth. Next, how many times the silkworm shed their skin in the larva stage? Next, the caterpillar creates a fiber which hardens when exposed to air. That fiber is made of which substance? Question number 22. What is the meaning of cocoon? Question number 23. What the caterpillars eat? Question number 24. Write a note on rearing of silkworms. Question number 25. How the fibers is taken out from the cocoon. Question number 26. What is the meaning of reeling of the silk? Next, write a few lines on health hazards in silk industry. Next, silkworm is a useful insect. Comment. Next, which animal's wool is commonly available in the market? Next, for what purpose rearing of sheep is done? Question number 31. What happens if a sheep is not shorn? 32. Why some animal welfare activists criticize Sariculture? Question number 33. Write the difference between natural silk and artificial silk. Question number 34. To which class animal fiber or plant fiber artificial silks belongs to? Question number 35. Why caterpillars need to shed their skin when they grow bigger but humans do not? Do you have any idea? Next, Ella wanted to buy a silk frock and went to the market with her mother. There they found that the artificial silk was much cheaper and wanted to know why. Do you know why? Find out. Question number 37. Paheli went to the market to buy saris for her mother. She took out a thread from the edge of the 2 saris shown by the shopkeeper and burned them. One thread burnt with the smell of burning hair, and the other burnt with the smell of burning paper? Which thread is from a pure cotton sari and which one from a pure silk sari? Give reason for your answer. Question number 38. Why cotton garment cannot keep us as warm in winter as a woolen sweater does? Question number 39. Which stage in the life cycle of silk moth is called cocoon? Question number 40. Why caterpillar should not be collected with bare hands? Question number 41. Name the stage next to caterpillar in the life cycle of silk moth. Question number 42. Two fibers are made up of proteins. Name them. Next, which stage in the life cycle of silkworm will be affected immediately if the mulberry bush dies suddenly? Clarify with reason. Next, why are the eggs of a silkworm kept below 18 degrees Celsius during winter? Next, what is the suitable temperature for an egg to hatch into a larva? Question number 46. Silk is called the queen of the fibers. Why? Question number 47. Farmers keep the silk moth's eggs in a cold place. Why? Question number 48. Wool is obtained from which body part of sheep? Question number 49. Can silk moths fly? Next, someone told Paheli that an animal called vacuna also gives wool. Can you tell her where this animal is found? Question number 51. Write down the features of silk. Next, explain short the 4 stages of life cycle of silkworm. Next question. You must be familiar with the following nursery rhymes. Baba, black sheep, have you any wool? Mary had little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Answer the following. Number 1. Which parts of the black sheep have wool? Second, what is meant by the white fleece of the lamb? Plus many important MCQs and filling the blanks. The 3 basic necessities of life are: number 1, food; number 2, clothes; number 3, shelter. Clothes is one of our basic needs. Clothes protect us from heat, cold, rain, dust, insects, etc. Clothes are made of cloth. Cloth is also known as fabric. Fabric is made of fiber. It has been shown in the figure that we twist several strands of fiber to make yarn. Again, several strands of yarn are twisted to make fabric. Fabrics can be classified into 2 main categories: natural fibers and synthetic or man-made fibers. Natural fibers include animal fibers, plant fibers, and mineral fibers. Examples of plant fibers are cotton and jute. Examples of animal fibers are wool and silk. Asbestos is an example of mineral fiber.
Natural fibers are those fibers which are obtained from nature. On the other hand, synthetic or man-made fibers are those fibers which are made by humans through chemical synthesis. In the case of animal fibers, wool is obtained from the fleece or hair of sheep, goat, yak, etc. Whereas silk fiber comes from the cocoon of silkworms.
Next, why sheep, goat, yak and some other animals have a thick coat of hair? There are many animals such as sheep, goat, yak, etc. that have a thick coat of hair on their body. Such animals generally live in cold climates. The thick coat of hair traps a lot of air and keep them warm, as air is a poor conductor of heat. It prevents the warmth of the body from escaping and also prevents the coldness of the surroundings from entering. So thick layer of hair over their body protects them from cold. Wool is derived from the fleece of such animals. The hairy skin of the sheep has 2 types of fibers. Number 1, the coarse beard hair. Number 2, the fine soft under hair close to the skin. The fine hair are used for making wool.
In this photograph, you can see that the sheep is having a thick coat of hairs. This is all hairs and hairs. These hairs protect the sheep from cold. You can also see that the fleece has two type of hairs. You can see that this type hair, this is the beard, and these hairs which are called coarse beard hair, these are not fine, these are rough in nature. On the other hand, we get wool fine which is available here and here, which is very much available next to the skin, which is used for making fine quality of wool.
Next, some breeds of sheep possess only fine underhair. Their parents are specially chosen to give birth to sheep which have only soft underhair. This process of selecting parents for obtaining special characters in their offspring is termed selective breeding. Several breeds of sheep are found in different parts of India. Lohi breed, which is found in Rajasthan and Punjab, provides us good quality wool. Rampur Bushehr breed provides us brown fleece. We get carpet wool from Nalli breed, which is found in Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. Bakkarwal breed found in J&K provides us wool for shawls. Marwari breed provides us coarse wool. Patanwadi breed, which is found in Gujarat, provides us wool for hosiery. The fleece of sheep is not the only source of wool. The wool commonly available in the market is sheep wool. Yak wool is common in Tibet and Ladakh. Mohair is obtained from Angora goats found in hilly regions such as Jammu and Kashmir. Wool is also obtained from goat hair. The underfur of Kashmiri goat is soft. It is woven into fine shawls called pashmina shawls. The fur on the body of camels is also used as wool. Llama and alpaca found in South America also yield wool. From fibers to wool. For obtaining wool, sheep are reared. Their hair is cut and processed into wool. Rearing and breeding of sheep. Rearing of sheep means to look after the sheep by providing them food, shelter and health care. Breeding is done to obtain animals with desired characters. The entire process of raising and breeding sheep to extract wool from their fleece, meat and milk is known as sheep farming or sheep husbandry. Sheep are herbivores and prefer grass and leaves. Sheep also feed on a mixture of pulses, corn, jowar, oil cakes and minerals. In winter, sheep are kept indoors and fed on leaves, grain and dry fodder.
In this photograph, you can see that a farmer is rearing sheep in his farm. A large number of sheep are present in his farm.
Proper rearing of sheep is very important if we want good quality wool. The quality and quantity of the wool depends upon the breed of sheep. Some breeds of sheep have only a coat of fine hair while others have coarse hair. Sheep are selectively bred to get offspring with desired characteristics. This process is called selective breeding. Once the reared sheep have developed a thick growth of hair, hair is shaved off for getting wool. Processing fibers into wool. The processing of fibers into wool involves the following steps. Number 1, shearing. Number 2, scouring. Number 3, sorting. 4th, cleaning of burrs. 5th, dyeing of wool. 6th, rolling of wool. Number 1, shearing. Shearing is the process in which the fleece of the sheep or other wool yielding animal along with the thin layer of skin is removed from its body. Shearing is done by hand shear or by electrically driven shear. This process is similar to shaving of beards or hair. The sheep is about 14 months old. It is sheared for the first time. Sheep are sheared once a year. The fleece recovered from a sheep can weigh between 6 and 18 pounds. Sheep shearing is also considered a sport with competitions held around the world. World's largest shearing related contest is held in Variappa district, New Zealand.
In this photograph, you can see that a person is involved in removing the fleece of the sheep by an instrument.
Shearing is avoided in the winter so as to allow the sheep to keep itself warm with its thick coat of hair. Usually hairs are removed during the hot weather because in hot weather sheep do not need their protective coat of hair to keep them warm. If shearing is done in winter season, the sheep would die due to this severe cold. Just like a haircut, shearing does not hurt the sheep because only the upper layer of fur is removed from the sheep without hurting the skin. The uppermost layer of the skin of sheep is usually dead. However, the shearing process requires skill so that the shearing is done efficiently and quickly without causing cuts or injury to the sheep or shearer. While sheep will naturally shed their coarse winter coats by scratching their bodies against trees and rubbing away their extra fluff as the weather warms up. Scouring. The wool removed from sheep is known as raw wool or greasy wool. This wool contains sheep's dead skin, dried, sweat, grease, and vegetable matter from the animal's environment, dust, dirt. Scouring means the process of cleaning the greasy wool. Scouring may be done with the help of hot soapy water or it may be complicated process using detergent and alkali in specialized equipment. Nowadays, scouring is done by machines.
In this photograph, you can see that the old method of scouring fleece is being used. You can also see here the latest machines which are involved in scouring of fleece.
Sorting. After scouring, sorting is done. Some part of the sheep coat have better hair than the other. The best quality of wool comes from the shoulders and sides of the sheep and is used for clothing, and the less quality comes from the lower legs and is used to make rugs. The clean hairy skin is sent to a factory where hair of different textures, colors and quality are separated or sorted. The people who separate different textured hair in a factory get infected by bacterium anthrax and the disease is called sorter disease.
In this photograph, you can see that a large number of persons are involved in this sorting of wool. And these are the persons who may suffer with the sorter disease or which is called anthrax disease due to the bacteria which is called anthrax.
Step 4. Cleaning of burrs. The small fluffy fibers called burrs are then removed from the hair. In our sweater, burrs also appear. The fibers are scoured again and dried. This is the wool ready to be drawn into fibers. Step 5. Dyeing of wool. The natural fleece of sheep and goats is black, white or brown in color, so the fibers are dyed in various colors. Step 6. Rolling of wool. The fibers are straightened, combed and rolled into yarn. The longer fibers are made into wool for sweaters and the shorter fibers are spun and woven into woolen clothes. The processing of fiber into wool can be represented as follows. First step is shearing, which means removal of fleece from the body. Second step is scouring, in which skin with fur is washed. Squaring is followed by sorting, in which hair of different texture is separated. Then small fluffy fibers called burrs are cleaned. Fifth step is dyeing of wool in different colors. After dyeing, the fibers are straightened, combed and rolled into yarn. Occupational hazard. Wool industry is an important means of livelihood for Wool industry is an important means of livelihood for many people in our country. But sorter's job is risky as sometimes they get infected by bacterium anthrax, which causes a fatal blood disease called sorter disease. Such risks faced by workers in any industry are called occupational hazards. Anthrax or sorter disease is a rare infectious disease caused by the bacterium Bacillus anthracis. It occurs naturally in soil and commonly affects domestic and wild animals around the world. People can get sick with anthrax if they come in contact with infected animals or contaminated animal products. Anthrax can cause severe illness in both humans and animals. Symptom onset occurs between 1 day and more than 2 months after the infection is contracted.
In this photograph, you can see that a person is suffering from anthrax disease.
Silk. Silk is an animal fiber which is soft and lustrous. Silk is known as queen of fibers. Silk fiber is obtained from the cocoon of the silk moth. Silkworms spin the silk fibers. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called Sariculture, or rearing of silkworms for commercial purpose is called Sariculture. Silk industry began in China and was kept a closely guarded secret for hundreds of years. Later on, traders and travelers introduced silk to other countries. China leads the world in silk production. India is the second largest silk producing country in the world. Sericulture business provides employment to millions of people world over. In India, women are significantly involved in various kinds of industries related to silk production. These are rearing of silkworms, reeling of silk from cocoons, and processing of raw silk into fabrics. There are different kinds of silk which differ in quality and texture. The most common types of silk are mulberry, tussar, and Mcqs. About 80% of the silk produced in India is mulberry silk. The mulberry silk is soft, lustrous, and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful colors. Life history of silk moth. The overall life cycle of silkworm ranges from 6 to 8 weeks. The female silk moth lays eggs. This is the beginning of the life cycle of silkworm. These eggs appear as tiny dots on mulberry leaves. A tiny caterpillar comes out when the egg hatches. These tiny caterpillars are called silkworm or larva. Caterpillars feed on mulberry leaves and grow fast. In the larva stage or caterpillar stage, the silkworm shed their skin 4 times as they continue to eat and grow. Then the caterpillar secretes a fiber made of protein which hardens when exposed to air. The caterpillar weaves the fiber around itself by swinging its head in the figure of 8 and forms a cocoon.
In this picture, you can see that the female moth has laid its egg on the mulberry leaves at suitable temperature and under proper humidity. These eggs hatch into larvae, and these larvae are also called caterpillars or silkworms. Later on, these larvae secrete a liquid which in coming into contact with air hardens and forms the fiber which is known as silk fiber.
The size of cocoon is almost the size of a small cotton ball and is made of a single thread of silk, and that may be about 1 kilometer in length. The caterpillar takes 3 to 7 days to prepare the cocoon. Inside the cocoon, the silkworm develops into a pupa. A few weeks later, the cocoon opens and an adult moth comes out. The transformation of the pupa into a silk moth completes the life cycle of silk moth. After mating, the female moth lays eggs and thus the life cycle of silkworm begins again. It is at the cocoon stage that the cocoons delivered to the factory by the farmer. After sorting of cocoon by color, size, shape and texture, the cocoon are boiled in water to unwind the silk thread. If the silkworms are allowed to mature and break through the cocoon, the silk would be rendered useless for commercial purpose. Silk fibers are used for weaving silk cloth. Can you imagine that the soft silk yarn is as strong as a comparable thread of steel?
In this picture, you can see that when larva starts secreting a liquid fluid which forms the silk fiber. Then the larva goes on wrapping itself by the fiber which is secreted by itself, and it forms a cocoon. You can see here that it wraps, that the this is the larva, this wraps itself with the fiber and forms a cocoon around it. Inside the cocoon, pupa is larva takes the shape of pupa. At this stage, the farmers sell this cocoon to the factory, because if this cocoon is allowed to remain as it is, then the pupa will change it into adult moth, and the adult moth will come out of the cocoon, because when the pupa is transforming itself into the adult moth, its organs are being developed, and it also secretes an enzyme which is destructive in nature, and it causes a hole in the cocoon fiber. That is, the fiber breaks at many places, which reduces the market value of the silk fiber. So at this place, at this stage, the cocoons are sold in the market so that silk can be obtained from the cocoons by giving steam, or by keeping them in the sunlight, or by boiling the cocoons, and the silk fibers can be obtained.
From cocoon to silk. For obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. Rearing silkworms. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time. The eggs are stored carefully on strips of cloth or paper and sold to silkworm farmers. The farmers keep eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. The eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature. The eggs hatch into larvae called caterpillar or silkworms. This is done when mulberry trees bear a fresh crop of leaves. The larvae called caterpillars or silkworms eat day and night and increase enormously in size.
Here you can see that there is a picture of a place where silkworms are being reared. You can see that here a shed has been created, and these are the mulberry leaves on which you can see in the white, these are larvas. These go on eating, these larvas go on eating the mulberry leaves, and they shed their skin 4 times. They have to shed their skin because as they continuously eat day and night, their size continuously increases, but the size and the shape of their skin does not change, so they have to shed their skins. When they increase in size, ultimately they start releasing a liquid which ultimately forms fiber, which they spun around itself. From this stage, next stage comes cocoon, which is used for collecting the fiber from the silkworms.
The larvae are kept in clean bamboo trays along with freshly chopped mulberry leaves. After 25 to 30 days, the caterpillars stop eating and move to a tiny chamber of bamboo in the tray to spin cocoons. Inside the cocoon, the silkworm develops into silk moth, and small racks or twigs may be provided in the trays to which cocoons get attached. The caterpillar or silkworm spins the cocoon inside which develops the silk moth.
You have been told in the previous slide that when the larva stage has come, they have started developing, then a sheet which is of plastic and has having holes in it is laid on those cocoons, on those larvas. These larvas get attached to these tiny sheets of plastic where they develop cocoons. On the other hand, another method which may be used is, these are the trays made of some wooden material where you can see that the larva is being placed here and there. They start developing the cocoons there. You can see that here the cocoons have been formed by the larva here, and these are occupying separate place from one another. From there, when they develop the cocoons, here from here they are sold in the market so that the relevant silk fiber may be obtained from them after boiling or giving them steam or keeping them in sunlight.
Processing silk. A pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fibers. The cocoons are collected and kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fibers separate out. The process of taking out threads or fibers from the cocoon is called reeling of the silk. Reeling is done by special machines which unwind the threads or fibers of silk from the cocoon. Silk fibers are then spun into silk threads which are woven into silk moth.
In this photograph you can see
Silk cloth.
that the cocoons are being boiled to get silk from them. In this upper photograph you can see that the latest machines are being used to unwind the fibers from the cocoons.
Health hazards in silk industry, respiratory disease like asthma, bronchitis, etc. are common among these works due to inhalation of foul-smelling vapors when the cocoons are undergoing steaming, reeling, etc. Infections are caused as the workers usually dip their hands in boiling water while boiling the cocoons. Quality of wool. Thinner the fiber, the better is the wool. Fine wool has a shorter fiber length. A superior quality wool is more crimpy than an inferior wool. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please.
Now we will do important questions, MCQs, then we will do fill in the blanks. We will also perform some true false. So let us start. First question is, why is silkworm called a useful insect? As you know that silkworms are very useful because they provide us high quality silk fiber which we use to weave clothes, shawls and expensive clothing. This silk is very strong, long and shiny fiber. Next, how many times does a larva of silkworm molt? You can see that some places it is written as MOLT or other places it is written as MOULT. Both these words are same. It is the only difference is that one is used in American English and the other is written in Britain side. So both these words are same. The silkworms shed their skin up to 4 times as they continuously go on eating mulberry leaves day and night, and they go on attaining higher size. After shedding the skin final time, the silkworm builds a cocoon around itself as they release a liquid from their body and they move their head in the shape of 8 and round the fiber around itself and form a cocoon. You have already seen a white color egg-like structure which is called cocoon. Cocoon is a protective casing spun from silk. Another question which may come, silk is made of what? Silk is made of protein. Next, which animal's wool is commonly available in the market? Though we get wool from many animals, the wool commonly available in the market is the wool which we get from sheep. Next, for what purpose rearing of sheep is done? Sheep are raised principally for their meat, for their milk and for their fiber. Next, what happens if a sheep is not shorn? That is, if we do not remove the wool of the sheep, what may happen to it? You can see in this photograph what has happened to the sheep. All over the body, the fleece or the hairs of the sheep have developed in such a large extent that it may not be able for it to bear the weight. On the other side, if it is the summer season comes, there is a lot of heat and it may get trapped in this wool, and the animal may get die because of the heat produced. Now we see in answer written, if a sheep is not shorn for quite a long time, several problems can occur. This can cause sheep to become overheated and die. Further, urine, feces, and other materials become trapped in the wool, attracting flies and other pests. This can cause irritation, infection, and it also endangers the health of the animal, that is sheep. Next is, why is PETA against wool? Or why some animal welfare activists criticize Sariculture? In this photograph, you can see that some people of PETA organization are raising banners against the wool, because you can see here that this process of obtaining silk from cocoon kills the larva. So the animal welfare organizations are against sericulture. PETA, what is PETA? PETA is an American animal rights organization. It is actively discouraging the use of wool for several years. People who are associated with this organization say that these wool producing animals are treated like textile producing animals, because we get wool from them and that wool is used in textile. Shearers are those persons who remove the hairs from the sheep or other wool giving animals. These workers are usually paid by volume, that is the number of sheep from whom they have removed the hair. They are not paid by the hour, they are paid by the volume, that is number of sheep, which encourages them to do fast work without regard for the welfare of the sheep. When wool producing animals and they start giving less production of wool, most sheep are killed. If the production of the wool from the particular sheep or other wool giving animal declines, that animal may be got killed for meat, or many other such like animals may be sent on a long journey in several severely crowded ship to countries that have few animal welfare regulations. PETA suggests the use of cotton, polyester fleece, etc. Next question, to which class, animal fiber or plant fiber, artificial silk belongs to? Or what is the difference between natural silk and artificial silk? In this photograph, you can see that we are burning genuine silk in this photograph, and here we are burning artificial silk. When you burn a genuine silk, it will give the smell of burning hair and the flame is invisible. On the other hand, when you burn the artificial silk, it gives the smell of a plastic or as a burning paper, and the flame is also visible to us. As soon as the flame is taken away, in this case of genuine silk, the fabric will stop burning. In the case of genuine silk, if we burn the genuine silk, the ash which may be produced from burning the genuine silk, the ash will be in black in color, it will be crispy, and if we twist it in our fingers, it will easily become powder. But in the case of artificial silk, no ash is left. So from burning test, we can see that whether a particular fiber is natural silk fiber or it is artificial silk fiber. Silk yarn of different textures can be prepared. Define the statement. Silk yarn is obtained from the cocoon of silkworms. There is variety of silkworms which look very different from one another, and the silkworm provided by them is also different in textures. The texture may be coarse, smooth, shiny, etc. So different types of silkworms provide us different type of silk such as Tassar silk, Moga, Kosa silk, etc. Next question. Cocoon is used to obtain silk thread. Why? Cocoons are collected and kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. In this way, silk fibers separate out. The process of taking out silk threads from the cocoon is called reeling the silk. Then the spinning of silk fibers into thread is done. The silk threads obtained are woven into cloth. Define selective breeding. The process of breeding of selective parents for obtaining special characters in their offspring, such as soft hair in sheep, is termed as selective breeding. We can understand this with the help of an example. Suppose here is a sheep which is having white color and the other sheep is having some gray color. You want that the mix of these two colors should be there, that the sheep which takes birth should have some whitish grayish color. So you can take one parent which may be male or female of white color and the other may be of gray color, and the resultant breed will have whitish grayish color. This is called selective breeding, that the parents are selected so that we can obtain the characteristics which we desire in the offspring which will take birth. Now we will see next question. Steps for production of silk are given below in the jumbled order. We are to arrange them in proper sequence. First, we go through the same. We already know that first of all what happens, male and female silk moth intercourse and give birth to, and the female silk moth gives birth to eggs, lays eggs on a mulberry leaves. First step is laying of eggs. Female silk moth lays eggs. Then these eggs are warmed at a suitable temperature or at proper humidity, which turn into larvae. These eggs result into larvae. These are the larvae which come out of these eggs. Then these larvae are kept in proper tray, and that tray is having mulberry leaves. These are the mulberry leaves, and these larvae are kept here. As already shown in the previous figure, when a proper place was shown where the trays were kept in a proper shed, there were kept trays, and in that trays mulberry leaves were kept. So this is the third. Larvae or caterpillars or silkworms kept in clean trays with freshly chopped mulberry leaves. Next is these caterpillars or larvae go on eating continuously day and night, and their size becomes enormous. Then after 25 to 30 days, these caterpillars stop eating and start spinning cocoons. They start spinning cocoons around itself. Cocoons, when the cocoons become proper, they are kept in sun, or they are kept in steam, or they are boiled in water to get silk fiber from them. Then the fiber which is taken from them is taken out from them. here it is boiled, and these are the fibers which are we are obtaining from the cocoon. Next is 4 different type of fibers are given to us. Out of these two fibers, 4 fibers have been given to us. 2 fibers are obtained from plants. We are getting 2 fibers from plants, and the other 2 are getting from animals, which are numbered third and fourth. Fiber first is used in filling quilts. It is quilt, used in quilts. Here the fiber is used in making gunny bags. Third fiber is used in knitting sweaters. Fourth fiber is used in weaving sarees. Now we are to name the given fibers. Here quilt is made of cotton. Gunny bags, you can see here gunny bags, these are made of jute. Fiber is jute. Here it was cotton, it is jute. Fiber 3, which is sweater, which is made of wool. Fiber is wool. Third fiber is wool. Fourth fiber, which is used for making sarees, is silk. We have given here the photographs only for the purpose that you can better understand this question easily. Next, why caterpillars need to shed their skin? Shed means remove their skins when they grow bigger and humans do not. Do you have any idea? As already told, that the caterpillars or the larva go on eating day and night. They go on eating mulberry leaves. They go on increasing their size. When they are going on eating mulberry leaves day and night, their size increases. But the shape and size of the skin does not increase, whereas their body increases in size. So they have to shed their outer skin so that they can grow bigger in size. This process of shedding out or removing their skin is called molting. Caterpillars shed their skin 4 to 5 times when they grow. You can see in this picture that this is the skin which has been removed by the caterpillar, and he has gone next further on the mulberry leaf. Now we are to see what are the various steps involved to obtain wool from fleece. First of all, suppose here is sheep, we have to remove his fleece. This is called shearing. When we remove the hairs, then we have these hairs are very dirty. Fleece is very greasy. It may be because of the vegetable matter around the sheep, or because of the urine or other dust and all that. So we have to clean that fleece, which is called scouring. After scouring, that is cleaning, we have to sort the wool according to the texture or the quality. Then we have to remove the burrs and remove that burrs, and then we dye the wool in various colors. Sorry. Ila wanted to buy a silk frock and went to the market with her mother. There they found that the artificial or synthetic silk was much cheaper and wanted to know why. Do you know why? Find out. As already told, that artificial silk is prepared at a large scale in mills, and it requires less labor and skill, so it is cheap. On the other side, original silk or genuine silk is produced by silkworms, and if we are to rear the silkworms, it involves a lot of labor, skill and time, and extracting silk from them is very time consuming and labor oriented. So all these factors result into the that the natural silk becomes very costly. Now, different kind of fibers that we get from the hair of sheep. We have to write that. We get two types of fibers from the hair of the sheep, which are as under the coarse beard hair. Coarse means rough. Rough beard hair means the hairs which we get from the beard of the sheep. These are very rough. And then the other hairs are fine soft hair close to the skin, which are hair close to the skin. These we get soft hair from these places which are close to the skin. Paheli went to the market to buy saris for her mother. She took out a thread from the edge of the two saris shown by the shopkeeper and burnt them. One thread burnt with the smell of burning hair and the other burnt with the smell of a burning paper. Which thread is from a pure cotton sari and the other is from pure silk sari? Give reason. As already explained in the previous lecture, that when we burn a pure silk, then it gives out the smell of burning hair. In the second case, that when we burn a cotton sari, it gives the smell of like a plastic or a hair, because cotton and paper both are carbohydrates and both give the same smell. Next, cotton garments cannot keep us warm in winter as a woolen sweater does. Cotton clothes are thin. They do not have spaces in their fabrics in which air can be trapped to keep us warm. So cotton clothes do not prevent heat coming out of our body. Next, which stage in the life cycle of silk moth is called cocoon? The stage in the life cycle of silk moth is called cocoon when the caterpillar or larva covers itself by covering of silk fiber. You can see here it is the cocoon. This is all silk fiber which the larva or the caterpillar has released from its body to cover itself around itself in the shape of 8. The larva traps itself inside the cocoon. Here you cannot see that the larva is trapped inside the cocoon because it is inside it. Later on, this larva changes itself into pupa. Rehana went to the market with her mother to buy a sari, silk sari for her grandmother. The shopkeeper was showing saris of different varieties of silk, but her mother wanted to take only a pure silk sari and not artificial. Rehana was confused how to distinguish between pure silk and artificial silk sari. However, her mother helped her in selecting pure silk sari and she was quite delighted. Now answer the following questions. How her mother distinguished between pure silk sari and artificial? Rehana's mother took a thread from two different saris and burnt the thread differently. The thread which burns by giving a smell of burning hair is natural silk or pure silk or genuine silk. The thread which burns giving the smell of burning paper or burning plastic is artificial silk. Next question is pure silk sari more costly? Yes, it is significantly costly than an artificial one because lot of labor skill is involved in case of getting pure silk from silkworms. What values are shown by Rehana's mother? Rehana's mother is intelligent and knowledgeable. Sanjay's father works in a wool industry. In his line of work, he does the job of sorting the fleece of sheep into fibers of different qualities. Sanjay noticed that his father and other workers who were doing the similar kind of job faced a number of health problems. Sanjay discussed this problem with his friends and teachers and came to know that his father is getting health problems due to the nature of his work. Sanjay is worried about his father's health. He advised his father to take care of his health and told him about the occupational hazards. Now answer the following questions. What do you mean by occupational hazard? The risks faced by the people working in any industry due to the nature of their work are called occupation hazards. Example, if a person is involved in construction or mining activity, he may face the risk of injury or illness. For example, if a person is constructing a building, the labor may die from a height. It may cause him injury, or the labor may be doing work for many days in hot summer season. It may cause illness. So these types of problems are called occupational hazards. Next, name the disease that workers may get at risk. In the case of wool industry, the people who do the job of sorting face the risk of anthrax or sortage disease. This is a rare infectious disease caused by the bacterium Bacillus anthracis. Bacterium is singular, bacteria is plural. What values are shown by Sanjay? Sanjay is very loving, intelligent and sensible boy. Next, explain the process of obtaining silk. For obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. Cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled, or they are exposed to steam so that the silk fibers are separated out from the cocoon. Threads obtained from the cocoon spun into silk threads, which are woven into silk cloth by weavers. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. You may be asked in the question paper, what is the meaning of reeling the silk? The process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. Some persons collect the cocoons with hands, caterpillars with hands. Why we should not do that? Answer is that most caterpillars are safe to handle. There will be no problem if we collect them with bare hands. But some caterpillars are irritating, have irritating hairs, and they may even release dangerous toxins which can cause rashes or allergic reactions in certain individuals. So we should not collect them with bare hands, rather we should wear gloves on our hands. Next, name the stage which is next to the caterpillar in the life cycle of the silk moth. Next stage to caterpillar in the life cycle of silk moth is pupa. The caterpillar changes itself into pupa when it develops cocoon around itself. Silkworm has 4 stages in its life cycle: egg, then silkworm or caterpillar, pupa and moth, where it becomes a fully adult moth. Name 2 fibers made of proteins. Silk and wool are the 2 fibers which are made up of proteins. Even our hair, which we are having on our body, is primarily made of tough protein called keratin. Which stage in the life cycle of silkworm will be affected immediately if the mulberry bush dies suddenly? Clarify with reason. Larva stage of silkworm will be affected immediately if the mulberry bush dies suddenly, because in this stage larva wants great quantities of mulberry leaves as food. In the absence of its food, that is, if mulberry leaves are not present, what will it eat? It will not be able for them to survive. As a result, pupa and adult stage of silkworms are also impossible. If the larva do not get their food, they will die, and the next stages will also not result thereof. Write short note on silkworm. Silkworm is the larva or caterpillar of silk moth. It is an economically important insect because silkworm is the producer of silk. Silkworm's preferred food is white mulberry leaves. We may be asked, what is the preferred food of silkworm? White mulberry leaves. Next, what are the eggs? Why are the eggs of silkworm kept below 18 degree centigrade during winter? As already told that during winter, mulberry leaves are not present. They are not available. Or if the mulberry leaves are not present, what will the silkworms eat? So, when the mulberry leaves are not available during winter, the eggs of silkworms, as you know, that silk eggs hatch when they get suitable temperature and suitable humidity. They hatch when they get the temperature of 18 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. In the winter, mulberry leaves are not present. So during winter, eggs of the silkworms are kept below 18 degree centigrade to prevent them from hatching, so that they may not hatch into larva, because mulberry leaves will not be present. So they are kept below 18 degrees centigrade during winter because of the absence of mulberry leaves. What is the suitable temperature for egg to hatch into larva? As already told, suitable temperature is 18 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. How many times silkworms larva molt? That is, how many times they shed their skins? They shed their skins 4 times at the age of 6th, 12th, 18th and 26th days respectively. Silk is called the queen of fibers. Skin is undoubtedly the queen of fibers. No other fiber has the texture, sheen, strength and attraction of silk. Farmers keep the silkworm's egg in cold place because when the mulberry leaves are not available in the market, it keeping the eggs in cold place will avoid hatching of larvae from eggs. Next, wool is obtained from which body part of sheep? Wool is an animal fiber which is obtained from the fleece of sheep. Next, how do hair of certain animals help in keeping their bodies warm? Hair traps a lot of air, as in the case of sheep. Air is a poor conductor of heat. Hair prevent heat from coming out of their body, resulting into keeping the body warm. Can silk moths fly? It is a very important question. Domestic silk moths cannot fly because they have been kept in domesticated position. We are rearing them for thousands of years. So they cannot fly now. Now we are to match column A with column B. Scouring. First step when we are to get wool is we remove the hair, which is called shearing. Then we get, after getting the hairs, these fleece or the hairs may be very greasy or very dirty. So we have to clean the skin which we have sheared. So scouring means cleaning. As already told, silkworms eat mulberry leaves. Yak is a wool yielding animal. We get silk fibers from cocoon because silkworms secrete a liquid out which on coming into contact with air develops into a fiber which is silk fiber. And silk fibers are got from animals. You may be wondering Why we have called it animal? It is an insect. Silkworm is also an insect. Though silkworm is an insect, it will be treated in the category of animals. Next, why do wool fibers have greater bulk as compared to other fibers? Because wool fabrics are curly. These are of fibers are of this nature. So these fabrics, woolen fabrics, have a greater bulk than other textiles. We are to write down few features of silk. It is soft and shiny fiber as compared to other natural and synthetic fibers. That is why silk is called queen of fibers. Silk is strongest of all natural fibers. It is highly elastic. It can be stretched and it will return to its original position, shape. Silk does not decay easily, so it is used in surgical stitching. When somebody gets wound, it is used in stitching. Next question. Someone told Paheli that an animal called vicuna also gives wool. Can you tell where this animal is found? Vicuna is found in South American countries of Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, and Peru. Next, you must be familiar with the following nursery rhymes. Ba ba black sheep, have you any wool? Mary had little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Answer the following. Which parts of black sheep have wool? Basically, the abdomen and back of the sheep have wool. What is meant by white fleece of lamb? White fleece refers to the white hair of lamb that is used to make wool. Now we are to find out in the life history of silk moth which actually makes this silk fiber. It is the larva. Larva secretes a liquid which on coming into contact with air becomes silk fiber. So it is the larva or caterpillar stage of the silk moth which makes the silk fiber. Write the 4 stages of life cycle of silkworm and we are to explain it in short. Answer. Egg. This is the first stage in the life cycle of silkworm. A female silk moth after mating lays nearly 300 to 400 eggs on a mulberry leaf. You can see here that a silk moth is laying eggs which are very tiny. Another important point which we are to note is that moth secretes a sticky secretion on the eggs. Along with the eggs, it also secretes a solution which so that the eggs stick to the leaf, so that the eggs do not go hither and thither. They stick to it, the leaf, and do not fall off. In case of favorable temperature of 75 to 85 degree Fahrenheit, eggs hatch into larvae within 7 to 14 days. This is the first stage of laying of eggs by a female silk moth. Next stage is larva. This newly hatched larva is about 4 to 6 millimeter in length. You can see that from the eggs these larvae come out. The larva is creamy white or yellowish white in color. They are having strong appetite, go on eating day and night. They eat mulberry leaves. Larva is the stage where growth takes place. It can also be called growth stage in the life cycle of silk moth. During this stage, larva molts 4 times, that is, it removes its skin, each after 5 to 6 days. Young silkworms can feed only tender mulberry leaves. However, during the growth phase, they can eat tougher mulberry leaves as well. When they become bigger and bigger, they may be eating tougher mulberry leaves. The stage of the larva between 2 successive molting is called instar. Normally 5 instars occur. The full grown larva now stops feeding. It after few days it does not eat anything. it now begins to secrete a clear sticky fluid out of its salivary glands, which is liquid, which turns into fine long solid silk into air. When this fluid comes into contact with air, it becomes long fiber. This fiber is wrapped around the body of the larva. The larva wraps this thread around itself in the form of by revolving its head in the shape of 8. And with this fiber, the caterpillar forms a cocoon. If this is the larva, it will go on rotating its head in the form of 8, and it will cover itself by a white or creamy color fiber, which is basically the silk. The cocoon serves a comfortable house for the protection of the caterpillar larva for further development. It is at this stage when the cocoon is formed. If it is this here, it is an important point. If the animal, that is the silkworm or the larva or the caterpillar, is allowed to survive after the spinning of cocoon and through the pupal phase of its life cycle, it releases an enzyme which makes a hole in the cocoon, so it can emerge as an adult moth. If we let the cocoon remain as it is, and it will automatically, a caterpillar will form the pupa, and from pupa the adult organs will develop, and in this stage the pupa will release an enzyme which will be destructive in nature. It will cause hole in the cocoon so that the adult moth may come out of the same. So it will break down the enzyme which is released by the pupa, will cause breakage in the fiber, which seriously reduces the value of the silk thread. To prevent this from happening, cocoons are boiled. The heat kills the silkworms, and the water makes the cocoons easier to unravel. Unravel means we can easily remove the silk thread from the cocoon. Next stage is pupa. Pupa is the third stage in the life cycle of which is inactive stage. After final molt inside the cocoon, larva transforms into a brownish structure called pupa. It is only for the understanding purpose that this picture has been shown, otherwise we may not have been able to look after the shape of pupa. Pupa does not eat and move. This is the pupa. It does not eat, does not move. But active metamorphosis. Active metamorphosis means rapid physical changes go on changing inside the cocoon. When pupa or chrysalis are about to undergo metamorphosis to adults, it releases an enzyme that creates a hold for their escape from the cocoon. Metamorphic changes of the pupa result in emerging moth. So from the pupa, adult moth develops as different organs of the silk moth develop. When enzyme is released and there becomes a hole in the cocoon, the adult moth comes out by tearing the cocoon, if we allow it to live. That is, if we do not boil the cocoon or do not keep it in the sun, or we do not provide steam to the cocoon, adult moth will come out. Soon after coming out from the cocoon, adult moth, that is male and female moth, mate. Afterward, silk moth lays eggs and die. Their life cycle is total life of a silk moth is very short. It is an interesting point to note. Male and female moths are flightless. They cannot fly. They lack functional mouth parts. The female has a larger abdomen, whereas the male has a much larger pair of antennae. The moths live a very brief life of 5 to 10 days, while males generally live longer than females. It is also interesting to note, it may be asked how much of silk we can get from the cocoon. We can get a raw silk approximately 300 meter to 900 meter from a cocoon. That is 1000 feet to 3000 feet approximately from one cocoon. About 2000 to 3000 cocoons are required to make 1 pound of silk. So you can estimate how much labor or skill or time is required if we want only 1 pound of silk. That is why it is only because of this reason that is a lot of time, labor, skill is involved in rearing of silkworms. That is why the natural silk is very costly. Now we will do certain MCQs. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon is called reeling the silk. Next, they eat day and night. Who eats day and night? Caterpillars eat day and night. What they eat? They eat white mulberry leaf. They eat mulberry leaves. Their preferred food is white mulberry leaves. Silkworms secrete fiber, which is made of protein, as already told. Cocoon is used for what purpose? Scouring the silk. Scouring means cleaning the silk. No, it is used for reeling the silk to obtain the silk. Which of the following does not yield wool? Yak gives wool? Yes. Goat gives wool? Yes. Camel gives wool? Yes. Woolly dog does not give wool. Llama and alpaca is found in South America. The fleece of sheep along with a thin layer of skin is removed from its body. This is the first step if we want to get wool from the sheep. This is called shearing. Scouring means cleaning. Reeling means to obtain silk from the silkworm. For obtaining silk, silkworms are reared and their cocoons are collected to get, we want to get what? We want to get silk threads. We are not interested in getting silkworms. Silkworms will be of no purpose for us. So we are to get only silk thread. Mostly sheep are reared for getting wool in China, Japan and Europe. Sheep are reared not only for wool but also for their meat. It is only in India that mostly we rear the sheep for getting wool. So our answer is in India. In other places, their meat is also used in large quantity. Scientific name of mulberry is Morus alba. Now there are various terms. We are to find out which are the two terms related to silk production. First, we will find out what is the meaning of each of these terms. Sericulture is related to rearing of silkworms for production of silk. Floriculture means cultivation of flowers. Moriculture means cultivation of mulberry leaves. Silviculture is the art and science of managing of forests. So here we are to find out the terms related with silk production. So as you know that sericulture means rearing of silkworm, and the silkworms eat what they eat? They eat mulberry plants. So these two terms, sericulture and moriculture, are these two terms which are related with silk production. So our answer is moriculture and sericulture. Next, wool and silk fibers are obtained from animals. Wool is obtained from sheep, yak, etc. Whereas silk is obtained from silkworms. Both are animals. Though these are insects, ultimately both will be treated in the category of animals. Which part of the black sheep have wool? Mostly abdomen and back of the sheep have wool. Nowadays scouring is done by machines, mostly done by machines. Cleaning of dirty wool, fleece. Silk fibers are also known as you know that silk is obtained from silkworm. Silkworm is an insect. It is also treated as animal. So silk fibers are animal fibers. Next, a pile of dash is used for obtaining silk fibers. From what silk fiber we get? We get from cocoons. Silk fibers from cocoons are separated out and reeled into silk threads. The dash of the sheep along with a thin layer of skin is removed from its body. Fleece. Fleece also means hair. Small fluffy fibers called burrs are picked up from the hair. The female silk moth lays eggs from which larva comes out are called caterpillar, or they are also called silkworms, which are whitish or creamish in color. The dash called caterpillars eat day and night. The larvae called caterpillars eat day and night. Dash weave silk threads, weavers. Which country is the largest producer of wool? As you know that if we call silk, in case of silk it is China, in case of wool it is Australia. An international trademark for new and pure wool is wool mark. Wool mark is a wool industry certification mark used on pure wool products that meet the quality standards set by wool mark company. Silk is a natural animal fiber. Silk fibers come from the dash of silk moth from the cocoon of silk moth. Sheep are herbivorous. They prefer grass and leaves. Sericulture of silkworms is a very old occupation. It is being practiced in India for a very long time. The fine hair provide the fibers for making wool. Larvae hatching from eggs of female silk moth are called pupa. No. Larvae is also called caterpillar, or they are called silkworms. Pupa is the next stage from larva. This is wrong. False. The wool and cotton are staple fibers. First, we should know what are the staple fibers. Staple fiber means a natural fiber, that is raw cotton, wool, hemp, flax, that can be twisted to form yarn. So our answer is okay, true. Wool and cotton are staple fibers because that can be twisted to form yarn. The female silk moth lays one egg at a time. No, you have seen that if this is the wheel leaf, hundreds of eggs, 300 to 400 at a time are given by the female silk moth. This is false. The silk fibers cannot be dyed in beautiful color. Wrong. These can be dyed in very beautiful colors as per our choice. The cotton thread and silk thread spun and woven in the same manner. Cotton threads, yarn, are made by combing cotton fibers of shorter length into a yarn and then twisting many fibers together to form a stronger yarn. Whereas the silk threads are made by twisting together long fibers of silk. So ultimately, in a broader perspective, if we see, they are woven in the same manner. Though the manner or the machines used for their spinning or wovening may be different. Ultimately, the broader process may be the same. So answer is correct, true. If you like our video, please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.